I think it is time. Can we start? Am I audible?
You're audible, yes.
Okay. So we have got now 40, how many? 44, 45,
44.
44. So some more are to join. We have 50 plus people to join. Anyway, let me start the session. We are not waiting for the others. As you know, others will be joining within 2-3 minutes. So what is our session today? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So you are seeing my screen now. This is my topic. Counseling the students, practical tips. Okay. So we'll be discussing about that one by one. The number of slides I'll be using will be very less because I want to convey more idea to you instead of presenting so much information to you. So what is the purpose of this session? First thing is, what is counseling? Second thing is, why it is needed. Third thing is, what is its relevance in our institution? Fourth thing is, what are the benefits we can get for doing the counseling? And next is, how you can do the counseling. Remember, I am not a psychologist, but I have undergone some 4 or 5 short courses on student counseling long back in my young days. I think before I was the age of 30. But I used to practice it. And some teachers have got that quality without even training. For example, 2 days back, I introduced you to one of my professors. You remember him? Who was it? Forgot. Shweta, who was the professor? My professor who talked to you. Shweta C, I'm seeing you. Check for your memory. How much you absorbed from a session? Dheeraj, do you remember who is my professor who talked to you?
Sir, Uma Devi.
Uma Devi was my student. One of my professors talked to you. Divya Mohan, do you remember who talked to you? I'm checking the memory of my colleagues. Divya, do you remember? One of my professors have talked to you last week. Very bad. Anyone among you? I don't expect anybody from NSS College of Engineering to answer. Anybody else?
Dr. Subramanya Prasad.
Oh, yes. Who was saying that? Dr. Subramanya Prasad? Vignesh was saying, okay. Or Preja was also saying, okay. That's good. So in my first check, the first candidates have failed. So now try to get pass mark in the remaining questions. I was saying, when I introduced him, I was saying a particular statement. He was a great human being. I don't know whether you remember it. I told the specific statement. He was a great human being. And any teacher who is a good counselor, the students in your future will say, you are a great human being. Do you get my point? If you are good at counseling, any student will say in future, so and so teacher, say Professor Vignesh was a great human being. If somebody has to say like that, Vignesh should be in the minds of the students. So getting into the minds of the students can be done by only teachers who know how to counsel them. So many things like this we have to discuss today. At the end, I'll be also telling you what you have to do in our institution. I don't know whether there is anybody else in this group. Now 59 people have joined. Am I right? 55 or 59? Very small.
There are one or two people
Okay.
from
So it
outside
doesn't
also,
matter.
sir.
They can also learn what we are going to do in our institution. They can try it in their institution. In our institution, what we have to do, we should have a clear concept. And in addition to that, I do present before you a new face. Rinsi, are you here?
Yes, sir. I'm.
Come on video.
Sir.
Yes. Rinsi Ujit. Yes. You are smart on video today. Right. Anybody who has seen this face
Thank you,
earlier?
sir.
I think 2-3 people have just seen. Anybody has seen this face? I'll check with 1 or 2. Tanesh, have you seen this face earlier?
I don't remember exactly, sir.
You don't remember. Gogol, have you seen this face?
No, sir. No, sir.
Lakshmi Suresh? Gogol has not seen. Lakshmi Suresh? Okay. Mini has seen. So I'm not asking.
No, sir.
Lakshmi has not seen. So she is the newly appointed counselor for the Ahalia group. But she is sitting in Aset, so we have got more right on her than any other Ahalia institution. She is our common counselor for the Ahalia group of institutions. She is a qualified counselor with post-graduation in counseling, applied psychology, and her duty is to impart counseling to the needy staff, students, and in due course to the society also, because Ahalia is going to take up so many social commitment activities. So she is appointed for that purpose. Of course, one more counselor we may get soon. She is in the grooming stage. Bindu also has completed her MA course in applied psychology and awaiting for the degree certificate. So once she gets the degree, we will have 2 counselors attached to our Ahalia group. There is one more counselor, you have seen them. You have seen her, Dr. Sumina in Ayurveda. She is also a qualified counselor. So when we have 3 counselors, we will be able to resolve most of our problems. So let me ask instead of showing my slides, let me hear it from the host mouth. Rinsi, what is counseling? You tell our teachers.
Sir, actually, counseling is, if we are generalizing, it is an helping relationship between 2 persons. The one is a counselor and the other is a counselee. The counselee who need assistance from the counselor, and the counselor should be trained and educated, professionally trained and educated to give this assistance. So basically, counseling is an helping relationship. Which the counselor the counselor is directing the client to move forward or making a decision, not the basis of any the counselor is not at all biased and judgmental, and also the counselor will not open up more the confidential details of the client, and that's it. Counseling is that's.
Okay, I accepted. You have defined it. Good. So you have proved that your worth. Okay.
Thank
Now
you, sir.
I have got a question to the budding counselor, Bindu, who is also teaching, because she is a teacher now. For the last 3 semesters, she is engaging some subjects for students in Aset. Can you differentiate, Bindu, between teaching and counseling? You have also done your MA in counseling, in psychology. Please differentiate. What is the difference between teaching and counseling?
Actually, as per me, I wouldn't go by the definition of counseling. Actually, we all have the answer for all the problems that is there. There are a lot of clutter in our head. Counselor will help us to sort it out. I would say counselor is that person whom you can open up നമ്മുടെ അവിടെ തന്നെ പലരും പറയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു കൗൺസിലറോട് എങ്ങനെയാണ് എല്ലാം തുറന്നു പറയുക, അവരെങ്ങനെ കോൺഫിഡൻഷ്യാലിറ്റി. ഇപ്പൊ പലരോട് ഞാൻ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ പലരുടെയും മനസ്സിലുള്ള ഒരു പ്രശ്നം അതാണ്, നമ്മളൊരാളോട് എന്തെങ്കിലും സംസാരിച്ച് അവർ പോയി പുറത്തു പോയി പറഞ്ഞാലോ. സോ കൗൺസിലർ ഇസ് എ പേഴ്സൺ യു ക്യാൻ കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി ട്രസ്റ്റ്. നിങ്ങളൊരു കൗൺസിലറോട് ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ കൗൺസിലിംഗ് എത്തിക്സ്.
Do you feel that the students are having that trust in you right now?
Students, I am kind of trying to build up that.
Okay. So why I'm asking is, when a teacher wants to counsel the students, this is the first point they have to develop. The students should feel that the teacher is trustworthy. Whatever is told to them will be retained with them. That's the first point I make.
Exactly.
Okay. So it has come from you. Thank you. Now, I want you to listen to a small talk by one of the most famous psychiatrists in the country on counseling. You know that the most famous institution in the country on psychological things are NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS. A famous professor in NIMHANS, I'm using one more connectivity. From that, you can listen him. I'll close this audio, and another audio I'll open up where you can listen to a small talk on counseling. I am not going to let you hear, it's a full 1 hour. 5-10 minutes only I'll let you hear, because that is more authentic than that I say. He is a postgraduate and a DM candidate, a DM doctor with a psychiatric specialization. He talks well about psychiatry. So let me see, after closing this, I'll switch on to that. Please listen, because I'll be asking some questions after that. You're all students in front of me, okay? So I'll ask some questions after you listen to it. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear this?
No, sir.
You're unable to hear?
No, actually, I feel that this is the voice that we are able to hear is from the laptop, your laptop.
I'll do one thing. I'll get it through the laptop. Okay.
So let's be frank. Let's understand.
I thought that the sound in mobile may be better, but now I'll change it over to the other one, so that. Pardon? Okay. Recording is initiated. 7 people joined, so still more have to join. We are not waiting for them because it's already. What happened? That recording was playing. Okay. Let us come back to this. I'll give my sound for that.
Finally, parents.
Can you hear?
Let's understand the definition of counseling. As I said,
No, sir.
counseling.
You cannot hear. Can
No.
you hear now?
If you can.
Who knows you is how much influence you have. Who you are is how much personality.
Can you hear?
Now think about this.
Yes, but barely.
Let me
Teaches
see.
you what you know and a little bit of who you know. You spent 3 years.
Is it a YouTube video?
It's a YouTube video. Can you hear?
Research is very clear that the most successful careers
Yes, we
have
can
been
hear,
built
but
on
not
influence
very
and personality.
clear.
In fact, one study that was done by the Carnegie
Yeah, let us
Institute
try
of
for 2
Technology
minutes. Can you hear now?
many other people.
No, sir.
Understand
No.
the first definition. Counseling means it is a process
Not audible.
of
Now?
Not audible.
and guiding the clients.
I don't know if others are able to hear. I am not able to hear.
Anybody else? Can you hear?
Especially personal,
No, sir.
psychological.
No. So don't worry. I thought that that audio clipping is very useful because that's a very authentic clipping on sound recording
What is his
transmission.
name? Maybe I can
Pardon?
try here and play. What is his name?
No, I'll WhatsApp you.
Okay.
Please try whether you can play that. Just
Sure.
check. Okay.
Yep.
Because that is very informative. But sound, even I have seen that while we copy from YouTube, the sound is not that clear. I've sent it. You skip the first 5 minutes and then start if possible. Anyway, I'm not sure whether sound will be audible because I was making a trial. Last time when I was engaging a class, I tried with a sound clipping from YouTube. It was not properly working. That is why this time I tried from another mobile whether it is working. But that's also not working. Anyway, she will try. Till that it comes, let us continue. Yeah, I think you need time, no? So I can continue.
Yeah, I've got it.
If possible, you play the video itself after 5 minutes.
Can you please remove your sharing so that I can share here?
Yeah.
Once that is there.
I can remove. I removed.
Today we are going to discuss about counseling. I am Dr. Suresh Badamat, Professor of Psychiatry, Head of Telemedicine Center, Head.
It's
Skip
fine,
first
right?
5 minutes.
Sir-
Yeah, it's audible.
Okay.
It's audible. It's fine.
Okay.
Skip 5 minutes, and because that is about the basics. I don't want that 5 minutes. Start after 5 minutes. Okay. All right. That is enough. Okay. Start.
Especially by a trained person on a professional basis to resolve especially personal, social, or psychological problems and difficulties. This is one definition. The NHS UK has defined counseling as a talkative therapy or a talking therapy that involves a trained therapist listening to you and helping you finding ways to deal with emotional issues. And this is very concrete or a specific way of telling it's a talking therapy, and the client will learn to deal with the emotions during the counseling process. The American Counseling Association gave a comprehensive definition. They defined counseling as a professional relationship that empowers diverse individuals, families, and groups to accomplish mental health, wellness, education, and career goals. See here, they moved from individual counseling to group counseling. So this is a broader and a comprehensive definition. Further, you can see one more definition. Counseling means a process that occurs when a client and counselor set aside a time to explore difficulties which may include the stressful or emotional feelings of the client. This is very specific and related to mental health counseling. Counseling also means process of helping the client to see things more clearly, possibly from a different viewpoint. This can enable the client to focus on feelings, experiences, or behaviors with the goal of facilitating positive change. So this is a very precise way of telling that there is a biological basis for counseling. In a situation where a person is in a difficult or a stressful situation, in that process, the emotions are very high. That basically amygdala is firing. The prefrontal cortex, which is required for attention, concentrating, thinking, and executive function gets hijacked. That means, under the high emotion, the person loses thinking or judgment capacity, and he will do certain wrong things. So if you are able to remove those highly loaded emotional situation, or else if you are able to diffuse those emotional situation, that person starts thinking properly and he learns to handle his emotion. That is what his counseling means. Counseling also means a relationship of trust and confidentiality. However, counselors may be required by law to disclose information in certain situation or scenario whenever there is a conflict with law. In such a scenario, the counselor should inform the law agencies. Now, let's understand counseling. Till now, we discussed various definitions of counseling. But however, the concept of counseling needs to be understood very well. Let me tell you, counseling is not giving advice. You are not a ready-made machine or a automatic human who will provide solution. It is not giving a fish for a person who is hungry. It is teaching how to fish. It is a skills transference that is called as counseling. You are not here to give a lecture or a teach when a client has approached for counseling. That means counseling involves transferring skills, not giving information, not providing immediate solution. It is a process of transferring skills to the client. That is, you have to understand. So you don't provide any kind of materials here. You are providing skills so that in near future, whenever he has been faced with a similar situation, he has been empowered with problem solving skills and he will solve his problem. That is what his counseling means. That means you're empowering the person. Let's give me one more example. In this scenario, you can see Arjuna is at the feet of Lord Krishna. See here in Kurukshetra, which lasted for 18 days. During the battle of Kurukshetra, the Arjuna has a lot of conflicts. He has a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Here he has to fight with his own family members, own relatives, friends. He has to fight with his own teachers. He has too many problems. Either he has to fight now or else quit the battle. So in such a scenario, in the battle of Kurukshetra, the savior, or what we call it as the person, Lord Krishna, comes here to guide him. So please understand, here the counseling started was Bhagavad-Gita. 18 days battle and different counseling techniques was given here. So here in this, the Lord Krishna never fought a battle in Kurukshetra, but he guided Arjuna to win. Similarly in counseling, the counselor or therapist is not going to fight your battle. They are going to guide you. The client needs to fight his own battle. That is what his counseling means. You are not going to fight the patient's battle or the client's battle. You are going to guide them. And the patient need to fight and learn the skills. That is called as empowering. That is called as teaching the skills which is required for life. And then the Arjuna fought the Kurukshetra and won the battle. That is all about counseling. Counseling is not giving immediate solution. Counseling is not giving ready-made answers. Counseling is teaching skills to the client so that he learns how to deal the problems when he is alone. So counseling, in another way I can explain you is, counseling is similar
now
to
you
any
can
training
stop.
program.
Now it is going to the theory.
The
I just
trainer
wanted the
will
introduction.
train you.
Stop it now. Okay. And you can stop the presentation. Now, 2-3 minutes, I'm going to the questions. Then I will come back to my PPT. Okay. Vignesh, can you call a counselor as an advisor? In Aset, we are having Vignesh from mechanical, not the science Vignesh. Can we call the counselor as an advisor?
Yes, sir, we can, most probably we can call them as an advisor and counselor also, because they're advising students and they're helping students regarding their personal activities and all of
I
the
think I have to
emotional
correct you.
steps.
I'm sorry. Advisor is different from counselor. Here, the advisors are doing the counselor job, but it is entirely different. A counselor should never advise somebody.
Okay, sir.
In our college, we are going to have advisors to do the counseling job. So both jobs are different. And the
Okay,
doctor
sir.
was specifically saying a counselor should not be an advisor. Have you heard that statement? Yes. But unluckily, in our college, the counselors are going to be the advisors themselves, but dual role. When you are counseling, you should not be an advisor.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Basil, can I ask you a question? Which quality is better for a counselor? Talking quality, that is oral skills, or listening skills? Which is more required for a counselor?
Sir, listening quality is more
Yes,
required.
right. The counselor should be a perfect listener. Then only can be counseling done. And let me ask Dhanesh a question. Which was the first ever textbook on counseling?
Sir,
Which was the first ever textbook on counseling?
first textbook on counseling. No idea.
No idea. Google, can you tell me which was the first ever textbook on counseling?
Sir, no, sir. I have no idea.
No idea. Subin, you have been listening. I am not asking anything from elsewhere. I am asking from this video only. Subin, can you tell me which was the first ever textbook on counseling?
Sorry, sir, I haven't noticed. I heard that.
Noticed it. You heard it fully?
Yes, yes.
Let me ask Krupa. She would have heard fully. Have you heard? No. Who heard fully? I think we'll have to go back to Swati. Have you heard fully? Which was the first ever textbook on counseling?
Correct,
Yes, HOD Tripoli has posted on. It is Bhagavad-Gita, right? It is Bhagavad-Gita. First ever. Sri Krishna is the counselor and Arjuna is the client. Followed or not? So I was checking your listening skill. You are listening like me. Okay, let us forget. So that video is over, and we had some questions. Now let me come back to. Pardon? Somebody is commenting. Okay. Now let us come back to our presentation again. Because now some points I have to discuss. Meanwhile, Bindu, please take care. I have sent 2 more videos. I'll ask you to play them.
Yes, sir.
You just see the titles of the video, because that video will give some more information. Whenever I want, I'll come to that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. See a statement. This is by a world famous educationalist. Education without guidance and counseling is not complete, and the person is unable to develop his personality fully and thus unable to serve society by his talents and abilities. A very famous statement by Lord Macaulay. And Lord Macaulay was the man who made the Indian education system. Now we are revamping. Now we are all together we are revamping that system. The new national education policy 2020 is actually crushing the Macaulay system. Macaulay system was basically meant for making servants for British people. And the new education policy is Atmanirbhar Bharat, making Indians proud. Okay. So anyway, this is a famous statement, but this statement is true. Whatever Macaulay has done to the Indian education system, there's a very famous speech of Macaulay delivered in the 19th century in the British Parliament. It's very popular. Macaulay has stated there that the best technique to capture the Indian continent is to stop teaching the people their original treatise, Vedas, Upanishads, etc., and to bombard with our own teachings from England. That he did, and he was successful. Anyway, what is the influence of guidance and counseling? We want our students to behave better. We want our students to be effective. We want our students to be competent academically. We want our students to make good progress, to become good engineers. And we want our students to have right values and attitudes. Even if we produce a good engineer, without some ethical values, he is of no use. That is why even professional ethics is a subject for study now. So we want to produce people with quality, with effectiveness, with commitment, with good behavior, and that is why we need counseling. So meaning of counseling I am skipping because this has been explained a lot by the doctor. You have heard it. It was clearly audible. So I am not discussing that. Now, this is the need for counseling. Why should we counsel? Why we are, obviously you see that no other college in Kerala is having a counselor. We have posted a counselor. Why? What's the need? This is the need for counseling. There should be harmonious and integrated personality development of the students. It's desirable to consider counseling as an integral part of the institution's program. But also I say, none of our teachers also have undergone a counseling program when they were students. To my knowledge, there is no counselor anywhere else in engineering colleges, except in some convent schools, they keep some counselors. But those convent schools, they teach catechism, which is, basically Christian philosophical basing. And that is not the counseling which we are concerned about. We are concerned about the quality building. Rinsi, can you add to this? The need for counseling, one I have given. Can you add one more point to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The adolescent age group, the early adulthood is almost in a confusion, and
right.
Also they always need a support, and as the doctor said, they want to build their skill as much they can.
Right.
For that, they need as much support, and they have to boost their self-confidence and self-acceptance. So the need of a counselor in a college is really an important thing.
So you have established that you are a necessity here. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That is true. That is true. We need counseling because, of course, I am more experienced than any of you in dealing with students, because this is my 11th or 12th year as the head of an institution. So I have come across situations where students are, many times I have come across situations where the students are eloping. They go away from the home, boys and girls together. And then the parents come to the college asking. Anyway, in Ahalia, I never had such a situation. In all my previous colleges, so many such situations I had to come across. Then another thing is, the students make themselves couples and they quarrel each other. And one of them will ask for issuing TC, saying that I don't want to see the other person. These are very common issues because they have not been counseled properly. So in all, these are two of the examples. So many other examples are there. Anyway, I'm not quoting all those examples. These are all cases where we feel that our students have to be counseled. And the point is, in a person of a particular age, maybe 40 plus, they will have grown-up kids, and by experience, they learn how to counsel their children. Whenever parents have been coming to me complaining about their misbehavior to the parents, complaining about the students' misbehavior to the parents, I used to tell them, any one of you, either father or mother, keep an open relation with the student as a friend, not as a parent. Because, Edward de Bono has given us transactional analysis where the relationship between two individuals can be parent to child, adult to child, parent to adult, then and adult to adult. There are different behavior patterns. And the students always prefer to have adult to adult relation. Today I had an occasion, I was telling Rinsi that you don't look physically very hefty and thick. So will students accept you as a counselor? Will students accept you as someone who is authentic to do it? And she gave me a very interesting answer. She said, I want to be a friend of the students so that they will accept me. If they feel that I'm a teacher or some grown-up person, they won't accept me. You are right, Rinsi. That's a psychological principle, because if only the student feel that the counselor is an equal or somebody who can trust themselves, or someone, even if it is an aged person, doesn't matter. if they can freely talk, if they can freely express, then only they will be ready to disclose their problems. Otherwise, they will close it up. And boys are more difficult in this because girls may even tell out, but boys will never talk to a counselor if they don't feel that this counselor is someone who can trust 100%. So that is a difficulty also. I had once a difficulty. I'm not talking it here. Ultimately, what happened was that the counselor escaped. That also can happen. So counselors also have to be very alert that they are friendly with the students. And now what we are going to do in our campus is we want to equip our teachers to be counselors. And that is the best way in any college, because a professional counselor, how many candidates a professional counselor can attend? One thing. Second thing is, a professional counselor will be taken by the students as an extraneous element. Whereas a teacher, the teacher who is teaching them, the teacher who is their class advisor, is always acceptable to the student. And if they can convert themselves to expert counselors, that is the best thing an institution can have. We are in that trial, so that no student, not even adult, like to be called as a client for counseling. They don't like. If somebody comes and tells me that I need counseling, I will always ask him, do you think that I am mad or I am lunatic? This question comes from the student. The student doesn't want him or her to be categorized as somebody abnormal. And they always feel, the society has got the feeling that whenever somebody has to go for counseling, it is something that they are abnormal. This is the upbringing they have got. In schools, for example, students will be sent to counselor as a punishment. I still remember in a school, two small girls, 3 years old or 4 years old, they scratched each other with the nails. Some fight, and both the parents were called, and the counselor was cross-questioning them, saying that you have got some genetical problem. That is why your children have scratched each other. So right from, like the Semitic religions are teaching that men are born sinners. Most of the Semitic religions teach that, whether it is Christianity or Judaism, it teaches that men or women, whoever it is, man is born sinner. So like that, man is born abnormal. It's a concept, but it's not correct. We have to take that everybody is normal. There is a level of madness in all of us. Only thing is, certain conditions make that to manifest. You think yourself and identify, are you mad or not? I will say all of us are mad. Like Sigmund Freud has given 3 qualities, innate qualities for the human beings: id, ego, and superego. Id is the basic nature, animal nature. That animal nature is there with every one of us. We are compressing it by the polished behavior of what is called superego. So really, even the counselor is mad, the counselor is mad. The teacher is mad, the student is mad. But the one who conquers it, that is what I am saying. Bhagavad-Gita is the best counseling book. In Bhagavad-Gita, what Krishna teaches Arjuna is not how to battle. He is teaching Arjuna how he can control himself, control the self, control the manodharma. That is the essence of Bhagavad-Gita. That is why Bhagavad-Gita is taken as a holy book, because anybody who reads Bhagavad-Gita frequently will be able to control their mind better. But unlikely our students are comparatively kids in the teenage or just cross the teenage. Their life experience is less. But living for more years need not bring you life experience. But teachers are normally, when you become a teacher, when you just clad the attire of a teacher, automatically a sense of maturity comes to you. Am I right or not? When you become a teacher, I am a person who has become a teacher at the age of 21. Let me ask Dr. Balamurugan, at what age you became a teacher?
Sir, I am also 21, sir.
21. When you became a teacher, at that time BTech was enough to become a teacher. When you became a teacher, all of a sudden, did you feel any change in your behavior pattern?
No, sir.
You didn't feel? You didn't feel that you have to be more careful, you have to be more reserved, you have to be more...
I felt, sir.
Right.
But I felt surely, but after a few years experience only, I got so much maturity.
Okay.
During the beginning, I also like quarrel with the students, fighting with the students.
All right.
Everything happened. That is truly.
So in your opinion, how many years are required for a teacher to mature as a teacher?
It takes minimum 10 years, sir.
Minimum 10 years. Okay, that's a larger estimate, but I think 5+ years somebody can mature somewhat. Am I right? 5 years is the minimum required. 10 years is good and well. Okay, that's enough. I accept that. Now let us come to the next slide. What I want in Aset. I'm going to talk on what I want my colleagues to do in Aset. Before going to that, I'll show a small video on the standard techniques which are used for counseling. Bindu, you can take that small video, then I'll come to, because that will give you a break to understand this better. Because if I
Sir,
start with
unshare Yoda so that I can start sharing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll start. Yeah, I have unshared. We take that video, which is shorter duration, right? Techniques.
This one, right? This one, right?
Yes, this one. Please proceed.
It's really important for counsellors to be able to connect with their clients and for their clients to trust them. In order to do this, they need to apply certain techniques. And 4 useful techniques are mirroring, silence, summarising, and paraphrasing. A counsellor can mirror their client in either a verbal or a non-verbal way, or both. With verbal mirroring, the counsellor will repeat what the client has just said, word for word. For example, if a client says, "I feel really hurt," the counsellor may mirror this by saying, "You felt really hurt." With non-verbal mirroring, the counsellor will mirror the client's non-verbal behaviour. This may be body language. This demonstrates to the client the counsellor is listening to them. For example, if the client crosses their legs, the counsellor will assume the same pose and cross their legs as well. Mirroring helps build a connection between the client and counsellor. It helps the client feel that they are really being heard and understood. Without this connection, it can be hard to develop a true therapeutic relationship between the client and the counsellor. Silence can be useful in the counselling relationship. Firstly, silence allows the client to speak about their issues without interruption. This can be a very new experience for many clients. Secondly, silence gives the person space to process their feelings and thoughts with no distraction. Thirdly, silence can encourage a client to talk. Many people feel uncomfortable with silence and rush to fill in the silence with words. This can be a useful technique, as the person may say the first thing that comes into their head, which can be very revealing about what they truly feel. Summarising is used in counselling to condense the main points that the client is saying and feeling. The counsellor is reflecting back those main points to the client, so they have an opportunity to recap what they said. Summarising is different to paraphrasing, and we'll talk about paraphrasing in a minute. Summarising tends to cover a long period of time, longer than paraphrasing. A client may reveal a lot about themselves. For example, they've recently broken up with a boyfriend, they don't like their job, and they don't know what they're doing with their lives. This may take some time for them to talk through. At the end, the counsellor may summarise this to show they're paying attention. For example, so you're finding things difficult at the moment. You've recently had a breakup with your boyfriend and you're unhappy with your job and you don't know what to do with your life. The counsellor may go into more detail than this when summarising. Part of the counselling process is to ensure the client knows that they're being listened to. One way to achieve this is through paraphrasing. This is when the counsellor repeats part of the story back to the client. Only part. This shows the counsellor has really listened to the client and understands what they're saying. Paraphrasing should include what the person says and also the emotion which they're expressing. For example, a client might say, "My husband phoned last week and told me our son is really ill. They're on holiday in Spain and I just can't get the money together to go since I lost my job." The counsellor's response could be, "You've had bad news about your son. You're frightened for him and worried about money now that you've lost your job." Following that, the client might say, "Yes, that's right." Developing a relationship with a client is an important part of the counselling process.
Our relevant part is over. You can stop it. Other things are unwanted. Again, some questions are coming. Anish is here. Anish, why silence is better? Silence is the most important technique in counseling. Why silence is better? Can you tell me the reason? When some students are coming to you for counseling, the best technique is to keep silence and listen to them.
Sir, yeah.
Why silence is better? Yes.
Because if you are silent, you can think of more options, and if you 10 minutes, if you wait for silently, you will get more good answers.
Okay, I think Anish has given your answer to it, but in the video there was another answer. It's your answer. Anybody who can? Okay, let me see who else has listened. Mr. Manikavasam, have you heard what is the advantage of keeping silence in that video?
Observing a lot of things, sir, from them.
Again, that is your observation. Video was saying something else. What he told is right, but the video was saying something else. Let me see who else will tell me that. Gobiga, what is the relevance of keeping silence? What the video has said?
The students can speak without interruption if we keep silent.
That was one point. One more point was there, continuing that. You are right, that was one point. Second point you heard? That is more important point. When a student is with you, the second point is this: when a student is with you and you are keeping silent, that will make a pressure on the student to speak out. That was told in that video. I don't know whether you listened. So when a student is near you and you are listening to the student, you are keeping mum, the student will be forced to open up himself or herself. That is a plus point. This is a Japanese technology actually. When you go to a Japanese, I think I have told you somewhere, they give you a cup of tea and they'll keep mum. You will go on talking, and if you take a tea, you will talk more, because tea is an invigorating agent. This is a technique in counseling. Okay, one more question I want to ask. What do you mean by paraphrasing? What do you mean by paraphrasing? I think who will tell me? Kirtana, you learn and go to another college. So tell me, what do you mean by paraphrasing? Kirtana is here? Kirtana is seen here. Kirtana is not here. Yes, you are not seen on video. Okay. What do you understand by paraphrasing? Okay. Anyone else?
Summarizing, sir.
Pardon? Kirtana, summarizing.
Summarizing.
Okay, it is actually not exact summarizing. I'll tell you an example. You are teaching a class and one student is coming and saying, teacher, you are a very cruel teacher. You are not giving marks. It can happen. Has it happened so far? Assume it has happened. Then you are saying that, yes, I also feel sometimes like that. That is paraphrasing. Immediately that student will succumb to all the allegations. Somebody is telling like that, and you say, yes, I also feel like that. It's a sort of sympathizing and repeating what the student has said. Okay? Mirroring is slightly different. Mirroring, for example, that is one technique. Anybody can say mirroring? Let us see what is mirroring. Who will say what is mirroring? Needu, can you tell me what is mirroring? You should all learn counseling. That's why I'm doing this. What do you mean by mirroring?
Communication.
Pardon?
Verbal communication.
Mirroring is not actually verbal communication. I'll tell you simply, you can easily understand it, because when you listen to a video, you may not fully understand it. The point is, mirroring means one student is coming to Needu and there are tears in her eyes and you are laughing and happy. Will the student like it or not? No. When a student is coming with a grim face, sad face, your face also becomes very much sad and inquisitive. That is mirroring. You are replicating the behavior pattern of the student. When the student is very sad, you become very sad. Or when the student is saying, that man is a very cruel man, he has done so much injustice to you, then you are also saying, yes, that man must be or maybe a cruel man. He must be doing injustice. That student will accept you as a trustful friend. This is the basic theories in. Have you understood this? These are the basic theories in counseling, which you have to use. As teachers, you will have to use. I don't know whether I will be able to finish all the techniques here, but let me come back to the presentation, what I want in Aset. Then I will come back to counseling again. These things we are going to implement hereafter. How many counselors we are having right now for each class? How many advisors? They are going to be the counselors. Counseling is not advising. Advisor is different, counselor is different. Don't mix up. But the advisor is going to take a dual role of the counselor, because advisor knows the students. Any counselor who knows the client or the counselee is a better choice. So how many students maximum a teacher has got now under them? Maximum. I think computer science may be the maximum. 28 or 29 students under a teacher. For a class of 60, we have got 2 teachers. Okay. So the maximum number of students for a teacher is 30. If it is a 60 class, the teacher will have 30 each. Am I correct? Am I correct? Yes. Maximum 30. Now what you have to do here, after I am going to tell, after that you tell me whether you can do it or not. You listen to what I am saying and then tell me whether you are going to do it or not. Shortly I will explain these things without much paraphernalia. Let me see. These are things which I want to have here in Aset. Here we are having an advisor. Earlier it was called mentor or tutor. Doesn't matter. Now advisor. Maximum with an advisor is 30 students. I have requested the academic coordinator, Professor Prakash, to keep apart one period for counseling. And that one period, all the teachers should have a weekly report of counseling. They should email it and they should keep a counseling register. So every teacher in Aset should have a book regarding their counseling activities. And every week, they should inform the principal any concern they have got. Concern means, suppose they are counseling the students. How to do it, I will tell. If they are counseling the students, they find that one boy or one girl is going off the track. They should inform the principal and the HOD so that we will take care. You have to take care of the usual thing. The principal and the HOD will take care of the unusual thing. And to help us, there is a full-time counselor also. So every week, academic coordinator will devote 1 hour. 1 hour means one period for the counseling work hereafter. Okay, that Professor Prakash is here, he is noting it. And then every day, you know that in 1 hour, if you assign 4 minutes per student, you can counsel 15 students. Counseling is not a group activity. Never call the students for group for counseling, because counseling is a one-to-one activity where the students share their concerns and difficulties with the teacher. The teacher will confide it, the teacher will listen to it, and the teacher will help them in overcoming it. That is the counseling. It's not an advice. There is somebody to see. Nowadays, the problem with many of the families are there are only 1 or 2 kids. Parents don't have any time to talk to them. So they find somebody else outside to talk to them, to chat to them. That outsider may be sometimes a criminal. But if they have somebody who is known to you, whether a neighbor, whether their parent, whether their relative, whether a teacher, to talk to them and share their suffering, human beings will be always happy. That is what is meant out of counseling. And in that course of counseling, the college will know who are to be taken care of specially and who are normally going on, how they are progressing. This is the purpose of it. And you, in every class, you have got a Google Classroom. So open the Google Classroom. 30 students will be there in your group. 15 of them you give some activity. Or even all the 30 you can give some activity. Something they can write or something they can discuss, let it go alongside. You call the first person. Ask that student to come to you individually on phone. You mute your mic and talk to that student for 4 minutes. They will call you. In the Google Meet, you tell so-and-so call me. They will call you because now phone is free. Nobody has got any payment especially required. Even if you call them the reverse, you are not going to lose because everyone has got package for phone call. It's not like the past. So 1 hour you are talking to 15 students. 4 minutes you can assign per student. That means in 2 weeks, you will be talking to all the 30 students. What you have to talk, that I will tell later. My next slide will tell what you have to talk to them. First thing is, okay, so 30 students. Each counselor has got 30 students. The advisor turned the counselor. If a class is of strength 60, 2 teachers will do it parallelly. Two Google Meet will be doing it parallelly. This is what is online. Offline, I will tell again. So what you have to, if it is offline, the thing is, you give some random work to the class. You take them to a lab or to a seminar hall or to a library or to a big classroom where you can take one student out. And counseling should not be done in a group, or counseling should not be done in the presence of others. So staff room is not a good place for counseling. We will make some small arrangement for counseling chambers. Of course, if labs are vacant, that also you can ask. You can use for counseling. So counseling should be done at a place where only the counselor and the counselee are sitting. No one else should be there. So other students can be in their class, or they can be in the lab, or they can be given some work in the library. There can be given some work in the laboratory. Like that, you have to manage. You know how to manage that. Even some of the classes people are managing like that. So that is not a big issue. Then if it is an offline system, spend 4 minutes per student. What you should ask, and again, I'll tell. And at that time, when you are counseling a student, only the counselor, the teacher, and the student should be present at that venue. Their discussion, nobody else should hear. And again, in a week, 15 students you are covering, 2 weeks, 30 students you are covering. Then, sample questions you have to ask them. First thing you can ask is, how was the last exam, or how is your studies? Very casual discussion. They should not feel that they are being measured or analyzed by this discussion. Very casual discussion. How was your health? Is there anyone in your family who got COVID? Or what about your neighbors? What are the specialities or some festivals in nearby places? All these things, anything which will attract them to you based on the person. And teachers should be knowing what a student will be interested in. If they are interested in seeing movies, which is the last movie you have seen, who was the hero, whatever it is. After asking such base level questions, you can ask them a bit more serious question. How much marks you got in the previous exam for so subject? Which subjects you have studied recently? Have you read any books other than your textbook? Or which textbook you are reading? Have you done any extra work? Say, have you done a Coursera course? Like that, anything under the sun you can ask and make a rapport. This is the first stage. But second stage onwards, you should ask them, what are the difficulties you have got in studies? Any subject is specifically difficult for you? Are your parents cooperative? And at the end, even you can go to their personal level of interference. Are you having any friends, boyfriends or girlfriends? Even that you can ask. Are you spending so much time on using the mobile? Are you spending? You are using a laptop for study purpose? While these discussions are going on, they get a feeling that there is somebody to attend to them personally. You get a feeling whether the boy or girl is normal or something abnormal is there. Abnormal cases you report to us, we will take the help of the trained counselor. Trained counselor means now Rinsi is there. Maybe at a stage, Dr. Sumina will also help. Maybe later Bindu also may help. We will hand over them to the trained counselor, and the trained counselor will call them, or we will arrange, college will make arrangements so that these candidates reach the trained counselor without the students feeling that they are to be counseled. We will make some meeting or something like that. We will arrange that, the college and department will take care of. So this is how no question is out of context, provided it is some ugly question. Ugly questions we don't want. Ask healthy questions, any question. And in this course of discussion, if any student is trying to commit some misconduct, have a liaison with their parents also. You call their parents. You are the advisors. You have every right to call their parents. Or if you feel even it is beyond that, maybe 1 in 200 or 1 in 300, maybe criminal elements, possible, that you report to the principal, we will take care of. I know how to counsel those students. Okay, this is what is expected from you in Aset hereafter. Okay, now let me see. Remaining will be theoretical parts. Now I want to see what is your impression on this. Please comment on what I have told. Are you seeing any practical?
Sir, I would like to just add on.
Right.
Sir, I would like to add on, when we are talking to the students, let us not be judgmental. If they say something, when we become judgmental, they will immediately close. They will stop opening up to us.
Okay, I add to that, Bindu, you should not be judgmental or argumental. You should not be. Your purpose is to listen to them patiently. You are sharing their suffering. You have to share their suffering. That is what the human beings want. So when a student is saying, my father is very poor, ask him how your family is now sustaining, like that. Don't judge a student by, even if a student is a drug addict or alcoholic, you can correct him or her. That those students we will hand over to the trained counselors. Rinsi is there right now. Later Bindu also will help us. We will hand over to them. Those students you feel, how you can, I think when we were having the training on Yad, Dr. Prem Narayan was saying about the changes which happen place in the addicts. Experienced teachers, I can, by a single look, I can identify whether a student is a drug addict or alcoholic. That comes by experience. Many of our teachers are also experienced in that. Those teachers who are not experts in identifying that, I give you a simple technique. If you are doing the counseling on Monday, if a student is alcoholic, you can immediately recognize, because most of the students take liquor by Sunday. By chance, if they take. So Monday, their body will have a liquor smell. This is one. But not always. Don't generalize this. This is one case. If a student is a drug addict, the pupils of their eye will be looking like dead. You will look like a dead eye. I think experienced teachers can immediately identify it. This I am saying, this is only a hint. Don't take that anybody with a dead eye is a drug addict. No. Sometimes due to medical reasons, then you talk to them, you will understand. If they are not having a connectivity between the statements, it indicates that they are addicts. And if they have got a memory loss of what has happened the previous night, they would have been alcoholic. So there are techniques. So if you doubt that a student is a drug addict or alcoholic, you inform us. Our counselor, our trained counselor will take care of it, because they are trained how to take care of it. The other teachers, untrained teachers, need not worry about that. But remember, I want all our teachers to become trained counselors. I am hopeful of that. Some more slides I have got, that is theoretical aspect, but I want you to ask me questions. You can please ask me questions. What difficulty you are foreseeing in doing this? I told what to do. And now, after 1 or 2 weeks, I'll ask Rinsi and Bindu to engage some sessions on counseling, because they have got that training. Rinsi has done some practical training also. She has some years of experience. Of course, we will call Dr. Sumina also, because she has got medical experience also. Plus, we have got one psychiatrist is there in Ayurveda Medical College. We'll call her also. And if so, we will ask some modern medicine psychiatrists from elsewhere to address our teachers. So this is the outcome we expect. If you are seeing any difficulty, tell me now. We will find out how to solve it. Otherwise, this is what we have to do. Anyone? Sangeeta, do you find any difficulty in doing these things? Why I'm asking Sangeeta is some people have told me that, students have told me that she is their favorite teacher. Are you right? Am I right, Sangeeta? Sangeeta is not there? No, otherwise I will withdraw the statement if you are not on mic. Sangeeta is not here. Maybe running from somewhere. Check where she has been. Okay. Anyone else? Any difficulty? Soumya, are you seeing any difficulty in doing what I have told?
No, sir.
You will be doing it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So within 1 year, you will become an expert counselor. And remember, talking less is better for a counselor and listening more. Maybe that's the only point you will have some difficulty. Teachers are used to talking. Teachers are less used to listening. All our teachers, including me, have got that bad habit. We are more used to talking. But a good counselor is a better listener. Okay. Now let us see anyone else. Swati, what do you feel? Can you do these things which I have told? Yes, okay. So the only thing you require is a small book. A 100 pages book, 3 pages you should devote to each student. You are maximum 30 students only. So 3 into 30 is 90. 3 pages you should devote to each student. So from next week onwards, till that student leaves the college, the counseling history should be recorded in that 3 pages. Similarly, Rinsi will help you in making Rinsi, you please prepare a tabular column. What all entries should be there in that counseling record. The morning I have told Rinsi to have for her. That we will extend to the teacher. So in your book, you will have some columns where you will note down, like in the hospitals, you see when you meet the doctor, they will write down something in a file. That becomes your reference file. So whenever, for example, last year one of our students suicided. I don't know whether you are aware of it. You are aware or not? Yes. It was nothing to do with the college. That student was having a genetical problem. His brother also tried to suicide. He is not a student here, but he escaped. But this boy, first time he escaped, second time he died. He was having a suicide mania. But if we were knowing it, we would have counseled him. We couldn't counsel because I knew it only just before his death. Just before the death, some days he was absconding from house. Then only I came to know it. Then it was the COVID period. Still I talked to the student over phone. He said that thereafter he will not go away. He told me, he will not go away. I talked to him half an hour. He said he won't go away. But he didn't go away, but he suicided. Anyway, those things we can avoid. Though it had nothing to do with the college, our purpose is to save our students. So this is in toto what I expect. It is 4:25. I know I am troubling you, and that is the principal's role, to trouble the teachers. Am I right? To trouble the teachers so that we are a winning team. Like, you know, Caesar's story, when Julius Caesar reached the British shore on ships with his soldiers, he asked the soldiers to burn the ships. Why? Then the soldiers were asking, sir, if we burn the ships, how can we go back? Then Caesar told them, if you have to go back, you should capture the ships of the British Navy. That means you have to defeat them and go back. And they went back, defeating the British Navy. So it is what is called do or die situation. So engineering colleges are now in a do or die situation. Teachers do not rise up to the situation, we will also perish. So we are all common warriors to retain it. That is why I want this system. It's not whether it will make the academic system better or not, but definitely this can produce better human beings from our college. Ethically correct, professionally competent, socially right, morally right students can come out of our educational system, at least from our college. Slowly, other colleges also will go for a counselor. That is what we can expect, because when they see that it is doing some miracles here, they will also go. Okay, I'm stopping my discussion. Any question you can have? Why? Some of our teachers have already left. Yes, some have already left.
Actually, it is
See.
4:30, so buses.
It's only 4:28.
Oh,
Buses will leave only at 4:35. So I stop here. They are precautious, it seems. Okay, let it be. Thank you very much. I hope there is no more question. Thank you for listening. Right. One more video was there. I will show it later sometime. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.